Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to the Coach's Corner, where we help you get to your next level. I am Coach Hadassah. Last time I said I was Coach Cotton, but I am not Coach Cotton. This is Coach Cotton, right? The lovely, awesome Coach Cotton. How you doing, Coach Cotton?
Hey, Coach Hadassah. Let me tell you, you did that twice. Yesterday we was talking to one of the members with their stream. You was like, I know that Coach Hadassah told you about everything we want to talk about. I was like, you are Coach Hadassah. I'm Coach Cotton. You are Coach. And then I didn't even interrupt because I'm like, you know what? He'll get it. He know what she mean.
Okay. You say she on the roll. She just let her keep
Girl,
going.
I was quiet as a mouse. I was like, you got this one. But I laughed so hard. I said, here she go talking about Coach. That's you. You Coach Hadassah. But I be laughing. I love it though.
Yes, yes. So I want to hey Lime Green.
Hey y'all.
Yes. So we got our people coming in, loading in. So wonderful. So listen, if you are on, go ahead and share, right? Give us a share, give us a like, wherever it is that you're tuning in from, whether you're on YouTube or you're on Facebook or wherever you are tuning in. Go ahead, give us a like, give us some hearts. And then also share, tag a friend, tell a friend, like Coach Cotton
Yes.
always says. I love she when she said that. Tag a friend, tell a friend. I love it, love it, love it.
Look, I be posting it now. I'm like, y'all know what I'm posting. And tag a friend, tell a friend. Y'all know
Yes.
me.
So listen, today we are at what part three? Part three.
Part 3.
Just love isn't enough.
Right.
And we've had some great topics over the past week, just spawning off of that. And so today we are getting into what are we getting into with our topics? Having the right conversations.
Yes. Asking the right questions, having the right conversations first. You can't start wrong and end up right. So we got to start right and end right.
Right.
Like that's
Exactly.
it.
That's what. Ooh, look. When an elder said that to me, I was like, that part, right? Give me the wisdom, please.
All of that.
Right?
All of that.
You can't start off wrong and end up right. So we want to make sure that we are starting anything and everything that we're doing the right way, because look, really, that's what the scripture says, right? Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. The end is declared from the beginning.
Right.
So we have to start off in the beginning on the right foot. So when we're talking about this, as far as like relationships and especially marriage, because it's huge. It's big. Look, it's big business when it comes to divorce court.
It sure is.
Family court, lawyer, all of that kind of stuff, and we want to avoid that. Why is that? Because that it takes away the wealth.
Right.
I mean, it really does. Well, you got to divide up everything and all of that. And don't get me wrong, don't think that I'm sitting here talking about like, oh, divorce is a sin and don't do it and such so and so. But in most cases, when we end up there, is because something happened. The ball was dropped.
Absolutely.
Something that we did not do in the beginning.
Right.
Right? In order to avoid that. Right. So this is really what this is. We want to help those that, probably, maybe you haven't gone down that road yet of marriage. Maybe you've never been married, or maybe you have been married and now you're single again. You divorced and single again, but you want to get married. You're thinking about it, but you want to do things the right way this time. Right. And just sharing these things and giving that wisdom of, what conversations should you be having? What are the questions you should be asking? But then not only just in, like with marriage and family, just in business too. Business is a marriage, right? Because when you get into business, you're getting a partner, right? Business partnerships that you're forming, and you have to come to the table and make decisions together and have those tough conversations. Sometimes everybody needs to be on the same page, where you're seeing Everybody's putting their ideas out there and seeing things from different perspectives. But when it comes to the execution of it, things need to, it needs to be an agreement in order for you to be able to execute things properly, right? So so what happens? That takes conversation. Look, that takes meetings, it takes conversations, and it takes asking those questions to get down to the meat or the root, of things. So, Coach, go ahead and lead us into this.
Girl, I thought you about to say, go ahead and start us off with a word of prayer. I'm gonna be like, okay. Lead us off with prayer.
Look, I'm like, we need it.
And in these relationships, you might want to start off with some prayer.
Listen, look, I will tell you that. I will tell you this. Look, date with the intention of marriage. And then, like, okay, let's start this off with a prayer. And then they looking at you like you crazy. Exit stage left immediately.
Done. Which brings us to one of the first points in this segment of the Coach Corner. Belief system.
Yes.
That's how we're gonna get into this. Now, y'all get ready because this is good. The coach and I, we already did our little meeting, and this is good. And I think it's very helpful to just know a few points to have the conversations. Like, we're just here so you can grow, get to your next level. We just want to give you a few things. You may not have to hit them all with this up front, but this needs to be on the to-do list. It needs to be a plan. And as you begin to get to know someone, start asking these questions, because this is how you really get to know somebody. When you ask these questions, you're going to find out real quick if they're for you or not, right? So your belief system, and what do we mean by that, Coach? We basically just saying it can be your faith, or it can be your career, it can be your habits, all of these things, issues that come along. If you're not asking the right questions, what is the belief system? You really can't go past that being one of the first questions when you're getting to know someone, or when you may be into a relationship already and these questions have not been asked. But religion, if you guys are not on the same page about something that seems simple, like your belief system, it's already going to be mismated. It's not going to work because the two different plans and visions that you all have just simply don't match up. And so, Coach, we was talking about what did I write it down there? I got so many notes, Coach. Like, it's crazy. I got some religion being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So religion being one of the points we want to just touch on. So I'm Christian faith. That's my belief. I believe in the Trinity, right? And, we won't get all deep into that, but I'm just saying, using myself as an example, it's not likely for me to try to get to know a man who is atheist, agnostic, Muslim, because some of the principal laws that we simply believe in do not agree. We know what the Bible says. How can two walk together except they agree? If we already starting off in different faiths and belief systems, it's going to automatically cause issues, questions of concerns, division. So that's something you want to get off sooner than later, just because it's just not going to work out. Mm-hmm. And then, like, Coach, we was talking during our meeting, like, how that belief system can now filter over into other issues like your habits.
Mm-hmm.
Your habits being, I wrote down a few, like, is smoking a deal breaker or not? If you are dating a smoker and you're a non-smoker, what does that look like? How are you guys going to believe in the same thing? You don't believe in smoking. You don't like it. You don't smoke. And if he or she does, then what does that look like for the future planning? What does that say about that person in your perspective? Are you going to be the one who changes, or are you going to accept he or she with whatever issues they're coming in with if they do smoke? Like, then, Coach, you brought up a great point, which led to another point was, okay, if that person smokes, health risks. Now I got to think about, in the unlikely event or a likely event when we're talking about smoking, if you get some type of lung cancer, I got to be the one to take care of you. Or the family has to be the one to support you doing that challenge when this could have been prevented, because I don't even like smoking. I should have never hooked up with someone who smokes. And it may seem like a lot up front, but when you're getting to know someone and you're planning, like Coach said early on, date for marriage. If that's the season you in. Now, if you just out here, you like trying to get it all out, do you? I wouldn't recommend it, but hey, get it out until you're ready for that stage in your life. But if you're dating for marriage, these questions are specific to your growth. These questions are specific to the plan that you want to have for your future in this relationship. Go ahead, Coach. You can say, because we can run this all day.
Yes, and it's like that point of what you said about the habits, and we were talking about that. And it's just those things when you have that. First of all, we should all make time,
Right.
to sit down and just really ponder life, and we could call it pondering, we can call it meditating, like whatever that is. And when we meditate on something. That means you think, you think about something, right? And so
Right.
like she was saying, with those habits, if you're dating someone, and like, first of all, you're dating with the intent of marriage in the first place.
Right.
So you're dating with the intent of marriage. That's going to help you get through your dating quicker. With, how they have that, what, speed dating. you,
You're gonna
you
run. You're gonna run through them.
because you're gonna run through them, and the reason being is because if you're dating with the intention of marriage, and then the person that you go out on that first date with even gets to a first date, like I remember, what was that? That's 20 whatever years ago. And when I was dating with the intention of marriage, I had criteria of, it's like,
Right.
we get through a 15-minute conversation without this person trying to turn it to a sexual conversation. You know how many people failed that? A bunch of them. Boom. Didn't even get another phone call.
Girl,
Right?
all of mine, I just delete. I just can't even.
Right. So then who made it to that next round of what's the second so we had to have 3 phone conversations before we could even get to planning a date and going somewhere. So it was like a 15-minute conversation, a 30-minute conversation. Did they make it to the next round of maybe a 45-minute to an hour conversation
I
without
loved it.
sexual? And then, okay, now we planning for a date. And then when we go out on that date, it's not somewhere where we can, go where you can't really have a conversation. We're not going to the show, or, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like, can we have a conversation? And then when you do you feel comfortable with them? Then you're checking out to see those habits. Are they a smoker or whatever? And I mean, and then wait, is that person dating with the intent of marriage?
Right.
They're not.
That's a big
They're
one.
dating just to, just have a good time going out.
Just
And
to go with the flow. They
yeah,
might just be going
right,
with the
to go with
flow.
the flow. And here's the thing about it. There's nothing wrong with that. That is fine for them. And what you're doing is fine for you. But guess
Right.
what? If they're dating to go with the flow and you're dating with the intention of marriage, guess what? Y'all don't need to have another date.
Period.
Right?
It ain't working out. It ain't
Like,
working
first of
out.
all, that shouldn't have even made it to the date, because that would have been a conversation had on one of those phone interviews.
Right. Doing your speed dating on the
Right.
phone
The
before you
speed
made the
dating,
30
the phone
minutes.
interviews. Okay. And so then when you do get to that point, and it's like, okay, does the person smoke? Well, maybe that wasn't a conversation that was had, but over the phone, but
Right.
in person. And you do have that conversation, do they smoke? Oh, you mind if I smoke? Well, if you're not a smoker and you don't even like smoke or anything like that, again, it's not that something is wrong with that person or they're bad or anything like that, but just, if you don't like cigarettes and cigarette smoke and stuff like that, and
It
that's
ain't
what
gonna
they
work.
do, it's not going to work. And the reason being is because you always have to think. A lot of people may think like, oh, well, they may eventually stop. or look, or I can get them to stop. No,
Right.
don't
It's
even
not
think,
happening.
right? The person that you would, if they smoke, you need to put it in your mind that they may not stop one day. Not
Right.
that they may stop one day, they may not.
Not stop. Wow.
And if they don't, all right, okay, you could, oh, I really like this person, or I can see, okay, can you see yourself um in a household where that person may not want to step outside to smoke? Maybe they want to smoke in the house, but you don't
Mm-hmm.
like cigarette smoke. You mean, you see what I'm saying? Um,
Right.
maybe they want to smoke in the car and you don't want to be in the car. You don't want to have the secondhand contact smoke, right?
Right.
How about go to the doctor's visits, and now they found out they have a you know, a tumor or something, lung cancer, and now you have to take care of the person that you didn't even like smoking, so you've been
Right.
dragged into that when you didn't like it in the first place,
Absolutely.
right? And so those are deal breakers, right?
Has to be.
Like, you have to be true to you just like
Hmm.
they are true to them.
Right.
And so you
Right.
have to make the decision for yourself, just like they have to make the decision for themselves too. So, you know, that could be a big thing. But but you have to carry that whole thought process out,
Right.
right? And see, like, again, you can't start off wrong and end up right. If that's where you are, what can, and you have to look at the different scenarios that can end. Well,
Mhm.
maybe they may stop, but if they don't, what could be the end scenario of that?
Right.
You got to look at the good, the bad, and the indifferent, and you
Yes.
make your decision based on right now. With that, do would I even want to deal with? No, no, I don't want, no, I'm good.
No.
Right, and then you just go on from there. So, you know, habits, um, and that's
It could
just,
be even like fitness culture. Like if this person is really big on health,
yeah,
eating
working
clean,
out and
going to the gym, and you it don't matter to you that much, but they are really this is a priority for them, may not work because you could say all day, you know what? Oh, they go to the gym, so I'm gonna go to the gym with them. Let me tell y'all something. Tried it, it didn't happen. Like I was just not self motivated because I hated the gym. I still do. That didn't even change, and I'm single.
right,
Just don't like it, so you begin to find yourself tolerating or settling or thinking that you're gonna operate in one way, but you're really not. Or
right,
even vice versa. If you're the one who's into clean eating and fitness and exercising and walking and stuff like that, but they're not, you
mhm,
cannot in good faith bring that on thinking that either they're going to change or you're going to change. Most cases nobody's changing, and then now you're tolerating that, and what you're willing to tolerate will only increase in your life. So what brings on the division is now, I love to work out, this is a priority to me, but you sitting here on the couch eating potato chips watching the football game.
now you got a whole problem.
A whole problem,
And
coach.
because look, prime example with that, you got a healthy apple and you got a rotten one, and you put
Ooh,
the rotten
do
apple
go there, go there.
touching that healthy apple and just let
Yes,
it sit there. Guess what's gonna happen? 10 times out of 10, that healthy apple is gonna turn rotten.
yes, that's it.
It's very rare, or forget very rare. It don't even happen at all where that
Period.
healthy apple is gonna turn that rotten apple into a healthy one.
It's done. It's too late. Once the apple is rotten, it's gonna be rotten forever, and this is gonna deteriorate. You cannot recover or save the rotten apple. It's done.
Right. And that rotten apple is gonna turn the healthy apple rotten.
Hmm.
You know, it's just being next to it. So
Yes.
you could just look at it like that, and it's like, no, I'm good, right? You know. So then all of that is just in, you know, habits, right? And then
Right.
what about career?
Before we move into career coach, I want to say that I have to bring in the scripture just so we can lay the foundation of
Uh-huh.
how this relates to the belief system. Now I went to Second Corinthians 6:14, and I chose to amplify because it just makes it really plain. Whether you believer or non-believer, this is just a principle law. You can flip it secular or in the faith. And it reads, do not be unequally bound together with unbelievers. Do not make mismatched alliances with them, inconsistent with your faith. For what partnership can righteousness have with lawlessness? Ooh. Or what fellowship can light have with darkness? Now I'm just going to stop there because it said everything that we're talking about with this first point. There is just no way that you can be okay being bound with someone who just has a totally different belief system than you. You're going to be stuck to that person forever, miserable. How can the light be with the darkness? How can righteousness be okay with being with someone who's lawless? It just don't work. It's like, hey, I'm all happy-go-lucky, and I'm the one who want to make everything bright, and you just got the sad Sam, all the negative person, the lazy person, the person who don't care, the person who's like wherever, whichever it goes. No, stop it. You're going to be drained. Coach, I'm just being real with y'all today. Like, that's what it is. You right here like, y'all feeling me, right? It's not gonna work. You unequally yoked. You just don't have the same vision. Y'all are mismatched. And now you don't make an alliance with somebody you don't even match up with. Yep. Like how you with a smoker and you don't smoke, and now you worry about your lungs, you covering your face, you know. And this somebody you want to care about, that you want to get to know. Like, stop playing with yourself. Because you playing with you. You're not playing with them and nobody else. I'm just saying, go.
Right. And listen, Tay, look. You know, I say listen to it. Listen. Tay is like, listen, let me find out that being in agreement is the word of the week. Okay.
Come on, alive, man. I see you say yes.
It's the word of the week.
It is. You got to be in agreement, baby. And so, I mean, look, the Bible just, again, it's a principle. It is a law. And all it's telling you is that start out being the right match, the right fit. If y'all can't even agree on if I like pizza tacos, let it go. Let it go. If you vegan and they eat pork, let it go, because you're not.
Let me see. That's not gonna work.
It ain't happening, Captain. I'm just being honest. Like, don't even bring that into your space. Like, you don't even need that energy because it's unnecessary. Unnecessary. So I'm joking with that though, Coach. But Coach, get into career. Get into career, Coach.
Yes. I mean, but it's look, it's real, y'all. It's real. It's real out here in the field.
Right. It's real out here in the field.
Out here in the field. And so,
if you a network marketer, but you got somebody who had put a 9 to 5 in,
woo! Now that
since we're gonna go into career,
that's a whole yeah. And then look, that itself might need its own whole Coach's Corner topic.
All day. Period.
Yes, but then career, and then and the reason why we have that under belief systems because because that's going to go into really it's going to go into our second point about ambition, because you need that drive. Right. You need that, not only the motivation but the inspiration, because I think that inspiration starts first and then that motivation, right? Motivation, root word motive, look, motive, motor, what's the engine behind the drive of it?
Say right? It again for the people in the back. What I gotta write it down.
Engine behind the drive, the motor, the motive, the motivation. Right? It has to, and so like, okay, so say with career, what it is that you do, and not necessarily, well, I don't know. We can kind of get into what you do for a living or whatever. But the thing is, we're not all reaping in the same, sowing and reaping in the same field.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And we have our different fields that we are to be in or whatever. However, how you go about in that field, how do you go about in in your life. But then what we more specifically talked about with with career and the ambition and the goals and things like that is that, say for instance, you're driven, you're inspired, you are motivated, you're that go-getter, you go out, you make it happen, hook, crook, or whatever, right? And
Yes,
so I
okay.
say, I
The
don't know if I want to say,
cliches in this coach's corner is really off the chain right now. Y'all bear with us, hang with us. I know we are going out there today, but just stick with us.
right. But then,
The crooks.
a hook crook. So here's the thing about that. And this is the example that I gave Coach Kai earlier when we were developing this topic. Like say for instance, and we're gonna flip it. So first let's start with what has been common. What has been common is that, that ambitious or driven man, right? He going out, he doing it, he making it happen, making the moves, so forth and so on, yada yada yada. And then he has his, his woman or his wife or whatever that she may or may not support in that drive. Now let's look at the being supportive in that drive. So if she's supportive with him in that drive, then when he's doing this, that, and the other, then she's the what we call the help meet, right? Yes. She helps to meet certain needs in those areas of that ambition, of that drive, and whatever it is that it looked like. I mean, if he's out there in the, let's say, hunter gatherer, like he out there and he hunting and he brings the resources to the house, then her help in that situation is he going out and get it and bringing it back to the house. And so she knows how to take those resources and make it do what it do for not only the household, for him, for her, for the children, if they have any, setting up things as far as, okay, and we're going to kind of get into that too, but retirement and investing and all of that type of stuff.
All of that.
To do all of those things, right? Well, that's supporting. And so the on the other end of that non-support is that if he is doing all that and she ain't helping with nothing.
Right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever it is that he's doing, she's bucking up against that, or she's sabotaging his efforts.
Right.
Instead of supporting the efforts, and you got to know what that looks like, what that is like. Now let's flip that. Let's flip that to, that woman or wife being, inspired, ambitious, driven in that sense where she's doing that. Right. And the thing is, I think I might have said this, but I might not have. What's kind of common is that, that man being that driven one, and then she's helping or supporting him, right? On the flip side, it's not all that common, where you have that woman that's that ambitious, driven and everything, and then he supports her in those efforts.
Right.
Times it's that clash. And you said it best, Coach, when we talked about that. What would be the reason for that?
Right.
Like, so, what's the reason for that? If she's that one, and then he's just kind of like,
honey, I don't even want to be this frank, but I'm just gonna have to be. It's gonna be one or two things. First of all, no support gonna come from him. And she's going to be that driven person, that, like you said, that ambitious person, the one who's out there getting the resources. Or you're going to see all the inadequacies and insecurities show up, which is going to lead straight back to the division, the separation. Because most men, and I always say most, because I don't like to put everybody in one big pot, but most men just naturally are not used to the woman having that role. They're used to taking that role. But if this man isn't the one who's driven, the one who's ambitious, who's career minded, the one who wants to build, his family, provide for his family, to go out and get all the resources, and the woman is taking upon this role, and he's not comfortable either sitting at home watching her, then now you're going to have just a conflict. You're going to have a major conflict, because there needs to be one, and Coach, I believe you said this part, if there's a driven person in the partnership, then the other one has to support. That's how you get the balance. You're not going to have the balance if both are super headstrong and driven, or both are super laid back. There has to be a balance between.
Yeah, look, they ain't getting nowhere if both of them super.
Right. And so like we all just letting life pass us by if we're both laid back. But then if we're both driven, then now we're clashing because there's no balance in the system. Like there needs to be balance in the system. And so I was just giving an example, and I won't, go into too much detail, but I was the driven one in my ex relationship. And so I was looking like, hey, let's do this. And I'm out here and I'm grinding and I'm making things happen. And when other people just watching, and then now you don't feel the support that you need, it comes a time where you grow apart. It comes a time where you just don't fit anymore, or you become very frustrated, annoyed, irritated by this. And now I'm in love relationship and I'm gonna make it work because I'm gonna change him, he gonna change me, and we doing our stuff together. And you was just unrealistic expectation. That's where you ended up at, and now you're disappointed, you exhausted, you tired, you unhappy, dissatisfied with your current state because you did not ask those right questions. And now you're connected to, you're bound, because the Bible said don't be bound to someone. Now you're bound to this person because you did not start off right. You were not bold enough in having the right conversation.
Right. And seeing that if it didn't, if it was just, and you can see if it just wasn't unequal, if it was unequally yoked, at least you can cut your losses in the beginning. That's like them bad trades, right? It's like, I'm cut this loss right now. Instead of me losing my whole account.
Right.
Let me go ahead and take this loss. Right. Up front. Whereas, and then, look, you could go back and get more. But you could cut that loss in the beginning to where you don't just have to lose, outright. So yeah, that is important. It's important to have that conversation. But then not only just have that conversation, but then you need to see, be very observant. Be very, very observant, because people can say whatever it is that they're going to say all day long. But does that conversation actually match the actions that you see? Consistency. Right. And I always say this, consistency means harmony. Is what they're saying in harmony with what they're doing?
Wow. Let me put that in.
Right? Is what they're saying in harmony with what they're doing? And if not, I don't care how much they talk about, they not consistent.
Right.
Those actions are not, it's not harmonious.
Right.
You saying one thing and you're doing another. That's not harmonious. That is not consistency. Right. So that's what the ambition and the goals. That now let's get into finances.
Bum, 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 bum.
That conversation.
Here we made
it. That's the money maker or the deal breaker.
Period.
Okay. No, I'm sorry. I was looking at one of my children was sending me a message. So the finances. Now, this is always a tough conversation to have. Now, here's the thing about it. I'm about to give y'all the sauce, and it's very simple. Right. If you cannot have a peaceful money conversation, if you bring up a money conversation and they start itching, twitching, like uncomfortable, just be like, never mind. We don't have to have this conversation. But that don't mean you continue to date. If they feel uncomfortable about having that conversation about finances, right, that's your answer right there. That's all you need to know.
Right.
Period. That's all you need to know, right? Because that, I'll say money is energy manifested. Where your
Yes.
attention goes, your money flows.
Yes.
So if it's all over the place, guess what? Your money gonna be all over the place. If the attention is on things that is not beneficial to the relationship, guess what? It's gonna suffer, right?
You're right,
Um,
coach.
where where your money is going, that's where it's gonna look, grow, go, all of that stuff. And so if someone doesn't know how to um discipline their energy or their emotions, guess what emotions are? It's energy in motion.
Absolutely.
It's energy in motion. So if they don't know how to discipline their emotions, that means that their emotions are going to be all willy-nilly and all over the place. Then
No
guess
self control. No self
what, right?
control.
It's going to be all over the place, and it's not going to be where it really should be or where it need to be, which is in your household, right? Growing everything there,
Right.
right?
Wow.
Growing everything there. Well, we always talk about, the grass is, people look, when they say you think the grass is green on the other side, no, the grass is greener where you grow it. The grass is greener when you nurture it and take care of it, right?
Facts,
That
coach.
was grass, green grass in my lawn. But if I'm in somebody else's lawn, I mean,
And ooh, coach.
right?
You dropping it today because this is the other thing to that. You can't be nurturing two lawns.
Now,
You got one lawn you're responsible for. I was on my soapbox last week about this.
mm-hmm.
But you ain't even got enough resources to be nurturing two lawns. And even if you do, you're still not supposed to be nurturing two lawns. You need to tend to yours to make that stay green and fresh and bountiful. Right? I'm just coach, I'm just being honest. No, go on with your point, coach. I just had to say that real quick.
But that's real, because again, if we're talking about, okay, being intentional, right? Being intentional, love, just love isn't enough. So being intentional, being intentional about why you're dating. You're dating with the intention of marriage. So now we're talking about family. And if you're talking about family, you're talking about finances. You're talking about family finances. And where is the energy going to go? Where is the energy? Is that energy together? Right? Then if it's together, you should be able to have that conversation about finances, having that conversation about, okay, spending and budgeting. I mean, you really just can't come out and ask that question. Well, how do you spend your money? I spend my money on gas. I spend it on food. I spend it on. I mean, we do spend money, right? But do we have a budget for it? People don't like the word budget.
They don't.
They hear the word budget and it's like, ooh, I can't do nothing. But no, budget keeps you in the parameters of some things, right?
Right.
And in that budget, the first thing you should be doing is paying yourself first. Paying yourself first. Now, what you take out first, that is what you should be using in order to grow it.
Right.
Right? You take that and invest. You take that and look, trade. You take that and whatever that first is, it's not just take it and set it aside and let it sit there. Right. No, it should be growing. So those are the conversations to have. Okay, spending, because that's going to happen, but a budget. We don't have to spend everything that we get, but you don't want to deprive yourself either. Okay.
Right. Because and so you just become bitter and
become bitter and things. And so if you have if you're in the mindset of, okay, I'm gonna have a budget and I'm done investing and things like that, but then that person that you're dating and shoot, even they might be talking about, oh yeah, I'm dating with the intention of marriage. Okay, but why? Because people get married for different reasons,
Absolutely.
Right? Some people is, listen, you don't know. I don't even want to get in that because I don't want to take this over. But I'm just saying, that you need to know why. So if you're in that mind frame of, hey, I'm even if you're look, especially if you may have been not so good with money before. Then maybe you're getting into, those habits now where you're getting better with money. You are, sitting down with financial advisors or whatever, and you're, you got a budget plan, and, you're becoming better with it. But then, and don't think for 1 minute that you will not have anytime you intentionally start changing things. Everything, it's not so much that, oh, now stuff is gonna come in order to knock it down or challenge it or whatever. Those things were actually already there. You just didn't see it because you was in it and you was doing it. And now that you're not, now your eyes are open and you're aware of those things that were really already there.
Right.
Those people were already bad with money because you was too. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
And now that you woke, you can't be going pointing finger at everybody else because you have, what did you contribute? What part did you play? Into this financial situation?
So you have to have those conversations. How what do you? That's the question to ask. What do you think about budgeting? If they think budgeting is a death sentence,
that's not right. What Beyonce said, to the left, is right. You just go ahead and go.
Right. It's just like going. And the reason why I say that is because your mind could go, oh, well, can't you just work with the person? Are you a professional? Right? Are you? And when I say, are you a professional, that don't mean, oh, you might be a professional, in finances or whatever. But this is a person that you're going into partnership with. This is not a client.
Right. It's a different dynamic.
That's a different dynamic. The only way you want the way you're going to work with the person in order for them to get to that part is if they paying you to do that. In most cases, that's not a partnership. And so being equally yoked, then that means you're on that track. That's what you're doing. They need to be doing that same thing too. Partnership. Right?
And you got to be consistent in your own budgeting, your own finances, because if you having some mishaps and missteps, you might don't even feel comfortable asking the question because that's work that you got to do with yourself.
Yeah. I mean, look, I still have financial mishaps and I got a lot more money than I had before. But honey, when I was just talking to one of our educators over here on the platform. We were having a conversation earlier today. And I was telling her, I said, I realized what my problem was this whole time. I was too freaking generous. And that was a problem. And that's not, somebody would hear that and think like, oh, she thinks she would. No, that was wrong. That was a problem. I was too freaking generous. Wow. And that's why I didn't have that's why I couldn't keep my money, because anytime somebody needed something or whatever, or this so-called emergency need, it's not an emergency if it's the same doggone thing all the time. That's like, no, something's not being done right,
And coach, at the end of the day, your urgency is not my emergency.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And a mistake on your part does not constitute
as my emergency, and I'd be the one end up not with money, but they got it. Huh?
And so then when I need, ain't nobody know where to be found.
Yeah, exactly. And then when I need it, girl, ain't nobody there. Nobody. So I had to stop. I had to stop that. I had to stop it, like, for real. I'm watching it right now today. I'm acting like I got the same money I had last year. Period. I got, as far as I'm concerned, I got the same money I had last. Oh, she got, no, I don't. I ain't got it. I got goals.
I don't have it.
I ain't got it. Because look, everybody else ain't have it. So guess what? I ain't got it either.
Period.
I don't have it either.
That's the power of no.
That's
the power of no, because as long as you're willing to give, people are willing to take.
Exactly. Exactly. And so again, that balance, but you have to, talk about that, because here's the thing about it. It's not that, just like being stingy or, whatever. It's like, no, I got long-term goals.
Right.
I'm girl, I'm gonna be 47 next month.
Stop lying, coach. Don't get up here and lie to us.
Look, today I thought I'm like, I'm gonna be 47 next month. I said I got 3 years to prepare for 50.
You do.
Right?
You do.
My birthday is next month, but my mind is saying I got 3 years to prepare for 50. So what I do today determines what's gonna happen in them 3 years till I get to 50. I ain't got time to be so-called generous or just like I'm gonna make it rain on everybody. No, we not. Right now, and having that conversation with someone else that you're considering, how do they think? How do they about, are they thinking about the future? Are they thinking about retirement? Right? I don't care. You could be almost 50, you could be 20. You really need to think about retirement if you 20.
Right.
Really, right? So thinking about the future, because one day, like I feel right now, I always say that everybody energy change. I don't have the same energy I had at 20 something, where I want to get up, do this, that, and the other. I want to have my car parked in the driveway before my husband even get home, because I don't even want to call him to ask him to move the doggone car. Like that's where I am with energy conservation. I'm trying to conserve. I'm trying to conserve my energy. I'm like, I don't feel like you just not gonna feel like a whole lot of stuff that you felt like.
I'm with you, coach.
You got to conserve the energy again. Energy is money manifested. When you're giving all out of that emotional energy and that emotional labor, guess what? That energy is going out, and you're gonna watch your money going that same.
Out. Right.
You can watch it go out the same way. So you have to have that money conversation. Investing. What do they think about that? Do they invest? Right. Are they thinking about investing? What are they investing in? That's a conversation. And then look, this last one, the children's education. Yes. If you plan on having, what do they think about you? Do they want children or not? Right? How you going to take care of the children? What's the beliefs about the children? Do you believe in spanking or not? Do you believe in time out? I mean, all of those things, right?
Coach, why are you going to enunciate
spanking? Do you
the Bible said you spare the rod, you spoil the child. That's what I'm going with. I'm going
with what the scriptures say. I don't care what nobody said, but it's abuse. Listen,
I'm just telling you what
I know what abuse is, and I know what a tap on that tail. That meat is there for a reason.
Period.
That butt ain't nothing but a back with some meat on it. You're supposed to.
Y'all forgive us again. Just hang with us. We about to wrap this up, but just hang in.
Back with some meat on it. It say, listen, I know, abuse is, okay, they do something and then I'm going to get a whole iron and I'm finna beat them upside the head with an iron or out of frustration. Like, I'm not doing that. But I'm going to tell you, look, I'm going to say this. I mean, everybody, look, you believe what you want to believe, all of that, whatever, do you, right? But when you do discipline.
Look, coach, and on that note, though, what's so funny? God knocked Paul off the donkey. He pushed him to get his attention. He smacked Moses was on top of the head. I'm just saying, if it's good enough for him, it's so good enough for me.
Paul out here killing people over them even saying the name Yahshua the Messiah. And Yahweh was like, oh, that's what you want to do? Okay, boom. Look, blinded him and knocked him off the horse. If we're talking about a belt on the backside, look, a couple of taps. This man went whole blind for 3 days.
See, but look, coach, people ain't ready for that real conversation. That's a real conversation.
Right. He
Are
went
you asking the right
he was struck
questions?
blind for 3 whole days, knocked off a horse and
Off
everything.
a horse,
I don't even want that smoke. I do not.
like, period. Like, you ain't got to do all that. You said correct me because you love me. Do that. You ain't got to hit me, beat me, push me off the
You,
donkey.
you ain't got to call me blind in order to get my attention. Like, you know, and I mean, look, it kind of it happened for me in the sense he told me I got something for you to do. You can't do it behind this chair. I'm sitting up here like I'm
Right.
making all kinds of money. I don't know what you're talking about. He was like, oh yeah. Next thing you know, I go to pick up my child and my wrist was just like,
Right. That
what
was enough. That was enough.
man? Steroid surgery. I'm like, really? That's what you're gonna do? Man,
Facts.
I'm like, all right, as soon as I made the decision, like, okay, I give in, like I surrender. Then it just went, I just get it restored itself. But anytime, it's so funny because anytime I even think about, because I'm telling you, my man go back there like, baby, listen, these people out here ain't doing hair like they used to. I know how to do it.
Honey, you
Like,
starting to get aches and pains. Like, you know what?
right.
You right.
I'm sitting up here like I could massage. I could put some deep blue on it now. Put some wristbands on. I get the twisting, twisting and braiding and
Nope.
stuff. And as soon as I think good about it, girl, my wrist start acting up, and I be like, really? So just the thought is gonna have my wrist acting crazy.
Honey, that's a disobedience, honey. I'm telling y'all, it is a law.
It's the but you know, so look, we were saying all that because we was talking about like discipline and spanking and stuff like that,
Yes.
you know. And the thing is, it's but you have to see where people are. You know,
Right.
do they believe in? But discipline doesn't necessarily mean spanking. You know, discipline
Right.
is I'm gonna make sure that you are accountable and responsible for whatever that is, and I'm not gonna let up on you.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna
Absolutely.
slither and slide and try to get away and out of. Like, no, I'm holding my finger right here
Mm-hmm.
on it. And you could try to go all around about if you want to. You're gonna take yourself through that confusion. But I'm gonna be
Right.
right here on this when you get back.
Absolutely.
You know,
And you're right, Coach. And that just goes back to the finances things because if you have or you're getting to know someone who is very frivolous and they don't know where they stand on that value or where they stand on that
yeah,
principle, then again, don't be bound with someone who's not even ready to have the conversation. Don't be bound to someone who's not thinking about that.
yeah,
Especially if you're dating for marriage and you're not dating for love, we're dating with a purpose. There's an intent behind why we're dating. There's an intent why we're doing what we're doing. And so if the vision again is not aligning, it's not in agreement, then you need to take a step back out of that situation and put your love and your feelings and his looks and her looks to the side and ask those real questions while you're getting to know them. Because again, you're going to get some real answers. When you
yes,
ask those real questions and have those hard conversations sooner than later, you're going to know early. And you know, one thing is what I do love and I believe in, Coach, is the fact that when we structure ourselves to do those things, which can seem challenging, we end up so much better. We end up with the right person that's yoked to us. Now we're bound to the right partnership. We are a helpmate to that man, or that man is the provider, protector, the overseer of what the household should look like, bringing in the resources. And we know how to work together in balance, in harmony, in consistency. But you got to do that up front. You got to do that so you can know. You know what I'm saying? I just think that it's phenomenal that we do have these opportunities, that we have these teachings where we have a guide to follow to say, you know what? It's time out for us being scared or tiptoeing around what our desires are, but we're saying we want something, but then we don't know how to attain it. We don't know what to say or what to do to get there. And then we find ourselves in a cycle of poor relationships, poor
yes.
marriages, divorce, separations, people being legally separated for 20 and 30 years and haven't finalized a divorce. You know what I'm saying? Living in misery. And then you talk about family planning, Coach. We have this conversation often. Family planning, can't nothing be done. Or you the side girlfriend and you never married buddy, but he's still legally married to his wife. And if he passed away, guess who gets all the gold? The wife. And she ain't didn't hit a lick with a snake. But guess what? The document was there, but that's part of the planning. That's part of the questioning. That's part of the conversations that we are avoiding when we're dating, even when we marry. Let's just say that you did not ask the right questions and now you are married. There is still some preventative maintenance you can do. You can still start where you are. Let's get it right. That can repair the marriage. It really can. If you begin to be real with that person is real with you, and you go seek the right professional help, therapy, counseling, coaching, whatever you need to start diligently working on that marriage, you can prevent divorce and separation.
Yes.
You got to be willing to do the work, though.
Yes. Listen. And on that note, Coach Cotton just dropped the mic. Yes,
coach, girl.
Yes, indeed. So listen, we thank you all for tuning into the Coach's Corner and this topic that we have been on for the past what? It's been 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah. Yes. Look, Lime Grief said, we all in your business, Cream.
Lime Grief and him. Tay said we in her whole life.
Right.
So look. Coach, I'm humble and I'm honored that Coach and I can come on here and just really talk about it.
Yes.
Because we want you to grow. We all want to grow. Not just y'all. Look, when we do this, we grow. When we and Coach having our meetings, we like, you know what? I need to write this down. Like, I do it all the time. I'm like, Coach, coach me through this whole lesson, because there's some things that we just have to know and then begin to apply it.
Exactly. So look, we thank you all for tuning into the Coach's Corner. Again, we are here every Tuesday at a new time now. We're 6:30 Central Standard Time, 7:30 Eastern. And the reason why we pushed back to 30 minutes is because we want to we want to make sure that we allow for the call that we have, prior to Next Level Living Legends, and we want to invite you. We want to invite you to that call that we have. It's on Zoom. If you're watching on here, I'm not going to put the information out, on here, but if you want the information, you can contact myself. You could contact Coach Cotton. Look, if you're going to slide in a DM, this what you slide in the DM about, okay? You want to know about it is, about what we're doing, because listen, we have a special promotion going on, a $10 lock your spot, to where if you wanted to learn anything about Forex trading, okay, then guess what? You have the next not 2 weeks. You have the next 3 weeks. Where you can lock in your spot for $10, and basically we're showing you how to trade on the Forex market for $10.
$10. And you're getting like full access.
Yes, you're getting full access for $10 for the next 3 weeks. Okay. So again, Coach Cotton, you can hop in her DMs. Me, Coach Hadassah, you can hop in my DMs. Either one of us, in either way, $10 lock in your spot. So go ahead, do that, and we'll get that information to you so you can hop on the call, and then we'll give you the information for you to attend the class live, and you can learn. We want to help you get set up, and then you can learn how to trade with the masters. All right.
Absolutely. And that goes into your asking the right questions.
Asking the right questions, right?
The right question, you get the right answer.
Right, start getting your finances together and all of that, because I'm gonna tell you, because one thing's for sure, and then we really going in is that divorce, the number one, right? Like the number one reason people file for a divorce, it's not look, adultery is second. The first is finances.
Yes, it is.
It's finances, right? We can that issue can be solved. Yes. It can be solved, just like Coach Cotton said. That can be worked on. Yes, you can work it. You can work on it. You can work it out, right? So again, we thank you for tuning in to the Coach's Corner, and we'll see you all next week. All right. Take care. Peace.